Alright guys, over the last week or so, Carl and Bryn have both been here to give me a hand. We filmed some stuff, but I'll warn you now, it's a bit all over the place, the footage, because I guess when someone else is here helping me, I just want to get on with stuff and make the best use of having an extra pair of hands. I'm not very good at keeping track of what I filmed and what I've explained and stuff, so I'll apologise for the video being a bit, not very good in terms of continuity, let's put it that way. But yeah, enjoy. We'll cut straight to some clips from when Carl was here. We installed the fire suppression system, the solid engine mounts and some other bits. So yeah, let's cut straight to that. Right, this is where we've mounted the fire suppression system, because originally it was going to go in the back with the battery and stuff. I don't think I've actually mentioned that yet, but I've moved the battery to the boot. And we've got the cable going through there and into the engine bay. But yeah, the fire suppression system is going down here now, because this hose that they supply you with, it goes off to this Y piece that then has to go to one of these hoses. They're all specific sizes. Even though we've got loads of this size, that doesn't really help us get into the bulkhead fitting, which has to go through to the engine bay, which we've actually ended up putting in the heater system because we are seriously running out of good places to pass things through. So it's going to be sat there. People who sit in the passenger seat are just going to have to watch their feet, I guess. We're also now, I think, going to take the engine out and do the solid mounts and do a few other bits. Carl reckons that it's going to take ages. I reckon it's going to take like 20 minutes. Right, we got the engine out, and turned out Carl was much more accurate with his guess of 50 minutes. What did I say, 20? Ended up being like more than double. But yeah, so now we're just taking the exhaust manifolds off. Who made those exhaust manifolds? They look beautiful. Now if we compare these mounts, which are actually brand new, hard race ones, uprated, to these solid boys. Oh yeah. And also they're a bit sort of narrower, so saves us a bit of room around here, so that the turbo pipes and stuff don't catch on there. Lovely ratchet action there. We will torque them up to the correct torque values.
No, we won't.
We will! Stop hitting it! Where's your torque wrench? Carl doesn't believe in torque wrenches.
FT.
Fucking tight. Fucking dickhead. Right, I've lost track of what on earth I filmed and haven't filmed as usual. But Bryn's here. Hi Bryn.
Hello.
There's Bryn. We swapped Carl out for Bryn. They might look similar. Both got a lot of hair going on, so you know, you guys might not have even noticed, but we swapped Carl for Bryn. Some would say a downgrade, but you know. Since you last saw, we put the engine back in, we put the turbos on, we... Intercooler piping, everything. What about the intercooler piping?
We put it on.
Well, yeah.
Some modification.
Yeah. We've just started sort of mocking up the exhaust so that we know where the downpipe needs to go to, basically, because I'm going to chop that off and have a V-band there, and then the downpipe will meet that. So yeah, we've still got a lot of stuff to do. In fact, we've not really done a lot, have we? We spent 2 hours looking for a 1/8 MPT tap, because as you can tell, this place is a fucking shithole. So we didn't find it. We've just wasted 2 hours. So.
I've never been so angry about anything.
A few moments later.
What are we doing, Bryn?
Just hammering this V-band back.
Just hammering my nice new exhaust. Just realised, didn't even mention at any point that I've got a new exhaust yet. So continuity Chris, as they call me. And what the fuck are we doing? I feel like you're making it worse.
Nah, it's nearly there. Look, it's fine. Look how straight that is now.
It's bent as a 9-bob note.
Did you tell him how it happened?
Yeah, no. Let's explain how it happened.
It's because this fucking exhaust has not got any hammers.
Because the exhaust goes in here, right? But we cream pied it with a load of soap. That sounds really odd.
It was odd.
It was odd, yeah. Quite arousing. But basically we covered it in soap so that it would slide in there real nice. And it kind of looked like there was just jizz everywhere. And yeah, then it slipped out. As so often happens when there's jizz everywhere. So
the one you didn't jizz?
yeah, I didn't jizz that one. We jizzed this one, but for some reason that one's stayed. Oh yeah, look, you can see some of the remnants of the jizz. Here's this content right here. This is content. When Bryn comes to town, the quality of the videos goes sky high. Okay, so we're going to start trying to make the bash bar, which is going to come off these parts of the front chassis legs. But one other thing that's happened recently is that the air filter's turned up. And the way we're going to do these, it's actually worked out really nicely, is that there's a nice gap coming through here. So we can have a pipe going straight through here, and then the air filter will go off that like that. And it turns out there's a nice space behind the front bumper, just in that exact position. It's not going to touch the wheel or anything, like that's far enough away. So it's kind of perfect. So yeah, that's actually one thing that's worked out really nicely for once. Also, we made the place even more messy while we were turning it upside down, trying to look for the 1/8 NPT tap that we never found. Sad reacts only. Angry reacts only. So yeah, the place is an absolute fucking dumpster. No, not a dumpster fire, I was going to say. That's not.
Sometimes, Chris, I wish I was your girlfriend so that I could leave you for the mess you make.
That's possibly the gayest thing anyone's ever said to me. But we'll ignore that and carry on. Okay, we've welded some of it up. It's not finished welding yet, but we just thought we'd sort of offer it all back up and make sure everything fits. And it does. So yeah, this is going to be pretty much the final design, but we are going to weld some bits across here, sort of angle off that way to follow the curve of the bumper. So yeah, it's not completely finished, but most of it's done. It was a pain in the ass to get all this lined up. Me and Bryn spent fucking hours getting these at the right angle and everything. It was not fun, but I think it's turned out alright, considering we didn't have a tube bender or anything. Literally all we had was a vice and some blowtorches. And your eye, yeah, we didn't really measure all that stuff, but yeah, it went pretty well, I think. Like I said, the pipe is only really small because that's the specs that BDC allows, so that's why it's tiny compared to a lot of bash bars that you see, but it's better than nothing. It'll do a bit of job protecting some stuff. So yeah, it's turned out pretty good. I'm going to finish welding all this up now, and we'll see how that goes. Right, I got one of these like extensions on welded, and then the welder ran out of gas, so can't do any more on that until new gas bottle turns up tomorrow. So yeah, what I'm going to do instead is focus on the intake manifold, tapping and drilling the various ports that we need off this thing. We need so many ports to come off this now. I'll explain every one of them briefly. Right, firstly we need a boost reference for the fuel pressure regulator. So the reason for that is obviously normally the fuel is being squirted into the engine at about 50 psi, something like that. But if it's now boosted, which it will be, then you've got pressure that's trying to sort of push back essentially against the fuel. So say we've got 1 bar of boost, I know I'm switching between PSI and bar for some reason, but say we've got 1 bar of boost in the combustion chamber, that is a bar of pressure that's trying to push back against the fuel that's been squirted in. So the fuel pressure regulator needs to know about that. Like, it just has a reference off this, so it knows how much boost is going into the engine, and then it can compensate by adding, like, say there's a bar of boost in the engine, it'll add an extra bar of pressure to the fuel that's coming in. We need one port coming off it that's going to go to the blow-off valve, so that knows when to open, so I'll go into the top of there. We need one port coming off and going to the boost gauge that I'm going to have in the dash. We need another port coming off and going to the electronic boost controller. Slightly controversial, I think, having that come off the intake manifold, because normally you would do that straight from the turbo, like as close to the turbo as possible. What else do we need coming off here? Oh, we need intake air temperature sensor, which is going to go somewhere around the back there. I think that's about it in terms of things that we need. There's probably something else that I've forgotten, something really obvious. But yeah, there's a lot of holes we need to drill. So let's start drilling and tapping some holes. So remember that NPT tap that me and Bryn couldn't find? I found one. Well, I didn't. I bought a new one because we really couldn't find it. That is so much thicker than I thought. I don't think we're going to have any problems. I was slightly worried that we might not have enough depth to actually tap it, but no worries there. There we go. Now, I'll be honest, I've not done a particularly good job of drilling that hole because it's a little bit on the piss, but we'll take our 1/8 NPT tappy boy and try and tap it. Just realised that's going to get in the way, so we might have to switch to the drill once we get this started. Yes, we're already hitting that. Right, let's see how we did. I didn't feel particularly nice, to be honest. Right, we've got a 1/8 NPT to 4AN adapter, which is what most of these things are going to be that are going into here. And that doesn't thread in very nicely at all. Good start. Right, so there we go. Once I've got a spanner on it, it wasn't too bad. You might wonder why it's poking out if you've not seen NPT fins before. They're not supposed to go all the way in because it seals on the threads. Like there's a taper. The threads start off small and get bigger, basically. So at some point, it'll just get really tight. If it actually goes all the way to the bottom, if it bottomed out there, you've actually done it wrong because then it didn't stop somewhere on the threads. It stopped just because it hit the bottom. So yeah, that's okay. Goes most of the way through there, if you can see it at all, but it goes most of the way in. So yeah, it's kind of on the piss, but what did you expect from me doing a job on my own? Oh, I should explain as well, the reason that we're doing it like this, going from NPT to AN, is because then we don't have to have any push-on hose. Now, not that there's anything wrong with push-on hose in general, like it does stay on really well. I've had some push-on hose that I literally couldn't get off and I had to cut off. But I did have a few times on the GT86 where the hose that went to the blow-off valve, that came off, the hose that went to the boost controller, that split, like right where it was sort of clamped to the barbed end. So for this build, we're going for full threaded stuff everywhere, basically, no push-on stuff if we can avoid it, especially when there's boost involved. So it's now the next day. I got 3 of those taps done just before I left, but we've got the new gas bottle now, so we're going to get back on with finishing the bash bar. So I gave up on filming that pretty quickly because it was awkward enough trying to actually get this thing on the welding bench to weld because it's way too big. It was even more awkward having to keep moving the camera tripod around. So yeah, got most of it done though. Still need to do this bottom section here, but I got these bits done, this bit done, and this bit done. What I've started on now is this thing, which is going to be a quick release thing, button, I don't know what it's called. Yeah, it's going to go in the front bumper. So hopefully I've lined it all up. I haven't actually finished welding it yet, but hopefully it's all lined up properly. So now we need to start drilling the front bumper. Cool, it fits, although we've got to drill the other side out because the step drill was too big to go all the way through. So I finally got that hole to the right size, and now the moment of truth. I'm going to offer it up to the car and see if it actually clicks into place. All right, we're looking good. Press that on, get a nice pop, stays solidly in place, and then pull it back off. The only thing is you do have to sort of pull it as you press, like if you just press the button, nothing happens. Which would be nice if you could just press that and it popped off. I've tried adjusting the length of the bolt and everything both ways and it's not affected it, so yeah, I think that's just how they work. But if you press it and pull somewhere on the bumper at the same time, then it's fine. But it's just making sure you do pull at the same time as pressing it. Not the end of the world, but yeah. So this is pretty much the finished bash bar now. I've got both the locking things on there, the quick release things. Got all the lower and upper sort of angled bits, whatever you want to call them, done. The only thing we've got left to do is fit the towing eye somewhere. I think we're going to mount it like off here or something, but I'll do that at some point. But yeah, it's finally done. I'm just going to stick the bumper back on. I'll show you what it looks like. So we've got the front bumper back on. We've got a little parking sensor boys on there. I've done a pretty good job, to be fair, of like getting them in the exact same place on both sides. Bit of a fluke, but yeah, they're on. What I've started doing now though is mocking up the air filter. I've kind of tacked a load of stuff in place, cut a load of pie cuts, good old pie cuts. Seem to fucking live on pie cuts at the moment. But yeah, tacked them all in place. There will be some kind of bracket, because at the moment it kind of flaps around like a floppy cock, but there'll be some kind of bracket, maybe off the anti-roll bar or something, like the bolts up there. Not the anti-roll bar itself, obviously. But yeah, to keep that in place, we'll have something. But yeah, you can see it's pretty tight in there, like we've not got loads of room, as usual, but it's worked out nicely. It's just enough room inside the bumper, and it's not going to hit the wheel, so pretty happy with how it's turned out. But yeah, now I'm just going to go weld everything all the way around. Right, let's get back to some good old aluminium welding. It's been a while since I've done any of this because I've been doing all the steel stuff for the bash bar and everything. But yeah, I actually prefer aluminium, apart from like when it does things like that, where you just blow a hole straight through it. Apart from that, yeah, that kind of sucks. But once it actually gets going, it's much easier, I find. So like, it just flows better. I don't know, it's hard to explain. Burning my hand. That is the problem with aluminium though, it gets so fucking hot. It's ridiculous. Like so quickly as well. Well, it's taken me a little bit to kind of get back into the swing of it, but not too bad for the first one. That got spicy real quick. Oh. Whoa, don't be moving. This is going to take all fucking day to do all these pie cuts. Oh well, we've started now. So that's finally all welded all the way around. It took fucking ages, but yeah, we got good penetration all the way through the vast majority of it, so pretty happy with that. But yeah, for my first bit of aluminium that I've done for ages, I don't think it's turned out too bad. Some bits that could be better, as always. I feel like I say that after every single thing that I ever weld, but yeah. So let's go stick it on the car and see exactly how everything fits. Right, we're looking good. I'll just hold it up to where it's actually going to be once the bracket is on, holding it in place. It'll be something like that. I mean, I can't get it in the exact position with one hand, but yeah, it'll be something like that. So that's where it's all going to sit. As usual, pretty tight against everything, but that's just the nature of this build, isn't it? Everything is tight against everything else. But we've got enough clearance to get the hose clamp around there, so it shouldn't be too bad. Probably just going to bracket it off somewhere up here, like I said before, so I'm going to go start making that. Right, so I think that'll do for this video. Like I said, it was a bit all over the place, sorry about that. But yeah, we got quite a lot done. I have actually got some other things done as well to do with the oil system and the coolant system, but I'm saving that footage for a separate video because I'm trying to keep these videos kind of focused on one topic. I know this one wasn't, this one was all over the place, but yeah, I'm trying to sort of focus each one on a specific part of the build. So the next one will be about the oil system, like scavenger pump and all that stuff, oil feed and everything like that. So yeah, that should be out fairly soon when I finish that off, and we'll see you there.